back to the shop, my friends. I just got back from the flea market and had a great time looking through all the different things. And as always, sometimes there are things on the shelves that just end up coming home with me. So let me bring you down here on the bench and I'll show you what walked off the shelf and came right home with me. So the first thing was this little torpedo level. It really looks nice to me. I don't know if that's walnut or just wood that has absorbed oil and sweat and tears maybe. I'm not sure. If it is walnut, it's a very tight grained walnut. It might be maple that's been darkened. But love all the brass fittings that are on here, and so I thought it would be fun to clean up. So I grabbed that one right there. Then I found this thing. And I guess it could be a combination square. It's missing the ruler. I would probably call it a compass. You guys can correct me on what you think it is. It says Union Tool Company, Orange, Massachusetts. I'd have to look a little closer at that. USA. But it's all froze up. And what is neat though is I was walking around and I found this one at a different booth, and this is a Craftsman, combination square Craftsman. It's got something all sticky and yuck right here, tar or something, so it needs some cleaning up. But I thought, well, I might take this ruler and put it in this protractor. Did I say compass earlier? A protractor, because it's supposed to swivel here, and we're going to need to see if we can't break that loose. But then at another booth I found this, and it's in pretty bad shape, but it would make a good straight edge. It says that might be Union Tool Company. I wonder if this is what goes to that, because this is a Union Tool Company and that says Union Tool Company. That is cool. Those are in two separate booths. So I don't know if this is the original one that it came with, but it may be what was in there. So I think that's great. We'll take this and let's see here, put that in there like that. And I've got to see about putting some oil on this and getting it to release. But anyways, we'll do that in a little bit. Put some oil on there. So we do have that. Then I picked up this bundle, and most of the stuff, the thing that grabbed my attention was this awl, and it's a Craftsman. I don't know that it's a very old one, but I kind of like that handle. And as 357 Magdad said, says you can't have too many of these. I don't know if he says that, but he always calls them a pokey thing. And so I thought, you know what, that really feels good in the hand. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up, and we'll clean this up, and we'll probably put it to some use. And then there were a bunch of other things here. These things are interesting to me. I looked at them, not that one. This one here says Remington Touch Oiler. And I know that a lot of times they dip these things. My grandfather was a watchmaker, and he had smaller versions of this. I don't know if I have one right here right now. I thought I might have. But he would take and you dip this in oil, and then you touch wherever you wanted a drop of oil, especially on clocks and things. So this says Remington. I presume I don't think it's for their guns. It's probably for their sewing machines. But there's two of them here. This actually says Remington on it. This one just says Touch Oiler. And so there were two of those in there. This thing here is something that probably is not too appealing to most people. It's what they'd put a ring that had two sharp edges in there, and they'd stick it into the snout of hogs, and they'd crimp that down, and it would bite down into their nose so they would not root. Hogs are one of the hardest things, pigs are one of the hardest things to keep in a pen. They will take their nose and they will root all over everywhere, and they'll tear things to pieces. And so they put rings in their nose, like a little staple in their nose, to keep them from rooting out. This looks like a marking knife. I'm not real sure. I don't see any names on it or anything. It's actually not sharp, it's right edged, so I'm not really sure about that. Might be for getting into corners and stuff, crevices, I don't know. If you guys know specifically what that's for, please let me know. And then the last thing here, which when I first looked at it I thought, well, it's kind of a piece of junk. It says Japan on it and Glow Master, not sure what the I'm not sure what that is. But anyways, I thought, you know what, this might be something good to throw in my carry-on bag when I travel. I like to have a little pliers, but they confiscate them, and so I don't want to use quality ones. So I thought that might be nice. I'd like to have a pliers with me, and I have learned my lesson about taking expensive things, because I have lost hundreds of dollars worth of tools that, for one reason or another, end up being confiscated by TSA or in some foreign country. So anyways, this is the stuff that I picked up at this flea market. I am going to take and put some oil on this and let it soak, and we'll see if we can't get this to loosen up, and we'll try to clean it up, and at the end of this video we'll see if we can't make that look presentable. So here is some of our Scout Crafter 50/50, and let's just go ahead and put a little bit, I don't know if I'm gonna, the pump is in the fluid here. There it is. Let that get all in here. So we'll let that soak in there, and let's go ahead and put a little bit in here as well. If this doesn't work, we'll try some liquid wrench. I'm going to just go ahead and remove these. There we go. And we'll just let that sit. You see that moving around? That means it's soaking down in and moving its way inside. On the other side here, there were bubbles coming out. But I thought that was kind of cool that you can see it making its way into, I think it might be full now. All right, this has been sitting overnight with some acetone and oil, and these are loose. I still not wanting to turn. So I think I'm going to go to the next thing I was considering, and that is liquid wrench. Nope, does not want to give. So let's take this out. We'll grab some of our liquid wrench here. This is a liquid wrench with silicone. I don't want this getting all over the place. So let's see. All right, let's let that sit for a little while. See if that will penetrate. sit for a little while. Let's see if we can get this to cooperate for us now. Don't know if this is going to cut loose or not. I think I'm going to put it like that. All right. Nope. Okay, I got one other thing I want to try. I don't want to damage this, but do want to try to persuade it just a little bit. Some years back, I think it was more than a year ago, I bought this thing, this brass rod, mainly for the brass. And I got to looking at it and didn't understand why it had a point on this end and a chisel on that end, until I realized, I'll bet you they turned 2 chisels in one. So just now I cut it in half. They've been sitting here for the longest time as one piece. So this is brass. It'll be a little more forgiving on something like this with steel. Plus I'm using one of my 12-ounce ball peen hammer, and I'm going to use it very, very delicately. We're going to put that brass right on there and see if we can't get some movement here. Plus this piece here is a 3/4 inch or 5/8 inch piece of horse mat, so it's rubber and it gives a little bit. So I'm trying to be as careful as I can with this. Nice little tool. Okay, I don't know. I don't think I can get up in there. Let's see what this does. That still does not want to give. Well, maybe we should try tapping it from this side. I don't like that. Like that. Does not want to go. Well, let's see. What can we do next? All right, guys, I'm going to admit I might just ruin this, but as it is, it's not usable. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to set it down on this rubber mat like that. Put this wood piece up here to protect the ruler, and go ahead and give it some taps. Man, it's solid. Don't know. All right, I'm going to try this one more time. See if we can't get it to move. Hey! Hey! There we go. Nice. That's going. Yeah, let's work some lubricant in there with that. All right. Isn't that great? There we go. All right. Let's shoot some oil in that. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and get the 50/50. The reason I like this 50/50 is it has a high detergent motor oil in it and acetone, and that acetone thins it so it runs all over inside of there. And then that oil lubricates. The acetone evaporates and the oil stays there, that high detergent oil. Oh man, look at that. That is really loosening up nicely. Isn't that wonderful? Man, that's great. Oh, I'm so glad. I was afraid I was going to have this solid piece of metal. A tool I couldn't use. Currently, at least right now, the way this is, I'm going to use it with this ruler. I'm hoping to find a nicer one. I think it warps just a little bit right there, but the straight edge is good. I've checked that, so that's good. Man, look at that. That is loosening up very nicely. So we could put this down here like this, get more of a handle. Get that loosened up. Isn't that great? That tool was for the most part dead. Now we have given it new life. You can tighten these down so that it won't move. Now it won't move. Loosen them up. What I like about this is the protractor aspect of it. If I want to get an angle, I can get the angle and line it up right there with that 0, and then tighten it up back here on the back. Now it'll hold that angle. There it is. So now it'll hold that angle and we can use it. So I love it. That is great. Let me clean it up just a little bit more and we'll do a final wrap up on this. I've noticed something, that when I had this loose like this and I was putting the oil in, it drops down towards this side. So I am going to try something here. Some of you may already know if this will work or not. I didn't know if there was a squeeze ring or something in there. Hey, look at that. Pulls right out of there. Nice. So now we can take, and I think I'm going to use some brake cleaner on it, and we should be able to clean that all out. We'll oil it up again, maybe with some rem oil so it's a little bit finer oil, and that is going to serve us really well. I do think before I use, I'm wondering, I don't want it to cloud up that little level. I wonder if I ought to take the level off. I think I might do that, is take that little level off. Don't know if there's much adjustment to it. We'll have to see. I may have to readjust it. But let's take that level off. I don't want to remove any metal from this in here or here. I just want to clean it all up so we don't have any corrosion. And so I've got this emery, or not an emery, a Scotch-Brite wheel that I think I'm going to try to use here for this thing. Now what I think I'm going to do is we're going to put on Scout Crafters 50/50 grease and 30 weight all-purpose grease and the 30 weight motor oil. Mix. You have to mix this with heat. You put it in a pan and stir it so that it homogenizes. Just going to put a little bit on here. This stuff's great. The oil thins out the grease a little bit. Right now it's kind of cold in here, so that's part of the problem, but this will work for a good long time. Nice little coat of grease, and we'll clean it all off once we get it assembled again. This should last us for a good long time. Love it. That is going to do us real well. All right. Well guys, that was a lot of fun. Got a tool here that was pretty much useless and given it new life. It now just works as smooth as can be with that grease in there, and we've got it all set up now so we can use it if we need to for anything in the future. But got that all locked down. I'm not sure. Let me take a break just for a minute and see if there's a place here on the wall we can put it. All right, I'm back. I found a place for it on the wall, so we're going to take and put it up here to be able to display it proudly. We'll set it right up here. And there we go. So we'll be able to display it here and be able to use it if we need to. Out of this project, got some more tools, have some more tools here that had been sitting around and not being used, and I think that helped to loosen things up just a little bit. And I'll have these brass punches, that's what I'm going to call them. They're awfully large, but some brass punches that I'll have here in the shop to employ. I said something earlier in the video about those oilers. If you'll remember, these Remington oilers, which I think are for the sewing machines, and you dip them in the oil and then you place the oil. There's also this one right here, and this was my grandfather's. It's only about 2.5 inches long, very, very small, and it was for doing watches, being able to dip the tip into the oil and then place where you wanted to oil the inside of the watch. So this is what I was referring to earlier. I don't know, you never know. Might come in handy one of these days for some little project that I'm doing. But other than that, it's been great to have these new tools here in the shop that will be, I say new tools, new to the shop, old tools that we'll be able to clean up. This was great fun. Thank you for joining me on giving this new life, and I look forward to your next visit. And as always, to each and every one of you, I guess before I get to saying goodbye, I don't want to forget, give us a thumbs up. And if you know somebody that enjoys this content, please share this content with them, send them the link, And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. And that way, next time we do another project like this or any of these others, you'll be notified and be able to come join me again in the shop. Now, let me salute you and say thanks so much for being here. Here's to you. Have a great day. God bless.